Hello, boys and girls. We are going to do some dictation practice just like we would in our wind notebook if we were at school. But first, we're going to review a few sounds. Our first sound at the top here is AR, car, R. Say these sounds with me. OR, horn, or. ER, her, IR, bird, UR, burn, I like to call these last three our sisters. We have ER, IR, and UR, and they all sound the same, but they look different. They make the same sound, but we spell them differently. Next, we have our glued sounds. ALL, ball, all. AN, fan, an. AM, ham, am. ANG, fang, ang. ING, ring, ing. ONG, song, ong. UNG, lung, ung. ANK, bank, ank. INK, pink, ink. ONK, honk, onk. UNK, junk, unk. Yesterday, we learned a new rule for spelling words that have more than one syllable, and we learned that we cannot use the CK at the end of a word that has two syllables. CK is only for words with one syllable and a short vowel sound, like in the two words back and pack. And yesterday, when we put them together to make a compound word, we learned that that rule only works if it isn't a compound word. So we have a new word today. Yesterday we talked about the words public and panic and plastic, all spelled with IC at the end. Today our new word is frantic. As you can see at the bottom, I have built frantic. I did use my glued sound for AN. And then I will have my two vowels. They are separated. You can't tell that this is a vowel because it's with the glued sound, but an A it is a vowel. So I have my A and my I are both separated. And I would separate those two vowels in between these two consonants, the N and the T. So I'm going to divide my word right here. Okay, so we're going to write this word down and we're going to mark it. This would be considered our word of the day. If we were in school, we would put it in our notebook. Frantic. So I'm going to mark my FR, blend. I'm going to scoop. You can mark your AN for your glued sound also is fine. And then I'm going to mark that as a short vowel and a closed syllable, and a short vowel for I and a closed syllable. Frantic. See if you can think of a sentence that you can write with frantic. Frantic. If you're not finished, you can press pause. If I were going to make a sentence with the word frantic, I might say, my mom was frantic when she thought I was lost. Your mom definitely would be frantic if you were lost. What does frantic mean? Frantic could mean upset, very upset, extremely upset. She's very worried, concerned. Also today, we are going to learn two new trick words. I'm going to read you a sentence. And remember, my sentence frames look a little bit funny. These are my tall sentence frames because they start with a capital letter. It's hard for me to make that on here, so I just had to add a box. But that is a capital letter sentence frame. Repeat after me. Mr. and Mrs. Wilson are here. Mr. and Mrs. Wilson are here. So I'm going to put Mr. Mr. is going to have a capital M, and we're also going to use a period at the end. Mr. and Mrs. also has a capital M and a period at the end. Mr. and Mrs. Wilson is their name. It's also going to need a capital letter. Mr. and Mrs. Wilson are here. And then don't forget, we need something at the end. We're going to put our punctuation there. My little period is kind of hard to see, but it's there. Mr. and Mrs. Wilson are here. Our two new trick words that we learned today in that sentence are Mr. and Mrs. We have already learned these with our spelling words earlier this year. So we have Mr. and Mrs. Wilson are here. Those are our two new trick words today. We are going to pretend like we have our wind notebook, and we are going to pretend like we are on one of those pages at the beginning of our workbook. And we're going to number the top line for our sounds 1, 2, 3, because I'm going to give you 3 sounds. So I'm going to go ahead and number my paper 1, 2, 3 across the top. And you're going to give me the sound for number 1. Repeat after me. Ank. Ank. Go ahead and write the sound and mark it. Number 2. Ing. Ing. And number 3. W. W. So for number 1, and if you're not ready, just press pause. Number 1, ank, and then I'm going to mark that glued sound. Make sure I connect the K. Number 2, ing, and I'm going to mark that glued sound with a box around it. And number 3, w, has 2 ways to make that sound. I'm kind of out of room. W and WH both make that sound. So I'd like to see both ways on your paper to make the sound w. Okay. I'm going to delete my screen so I have room. I'm on the next line, and we are going to have review words on this line. So I'm going to write a number 1 and a number 2 over here, just like I would see in my notebook. Number 1, crust. Crust. Tap those sounds. K, st. Make sure you have all 5 sounds. Crust. And go ahead and write that word and mark it. If you're not ready, pause your screen. I'm going to tap that word as I write it. K, st. Crust. Remember, I'm always going to use CR as my blend instead of KR. CR. So I do have a consonant blend here, CR. Another consonant blend at the end of my word, ST. Don't forget to mark your U. It is a short vowel sound. And my word is a closed syllable, crust. Remember, these are review words. Number 2, repeat after me. Twisted. Twisted. What is the base word of twisted? Twist. So tap the sounds and twist. T, w, I, s, t. Twist. Go ahead and write that word and mark it. And then don't forget when you're finished to add your suffix back. Twist, twisted, twist, twisted. Add your suffix and circle it. Be sure to scoop the base word and do not include the suffix in your scoop. If you're not ready, press pause. T, w, I, s, t. Twist. I do have a TW consonant blend, ST consonant blend. I'm going to scoop my base word, mark the vowel. It's a short I. It says I. It is a closed syllable. And then after I'm sure my whole base word is correct, twist, then we're going to add our suffix, twisted. And you are going to circle your suffix, twisted. Excellent job. We're going to move on to our current unit words. So I'm going to go to the next line, and I'm going to mark number 1 and number 2 for my current unit words again. Just like this was in our notebook. Number 1 is cupcake. Cupcake. Remember to separate it into its syllables. Go ahead and mark each syllable as you're writing them. Cupcake. And I'm going to go ahead and write that one on the board. Cupcake. I would separate it into cup, cake. Don't forget that A needs to say its name, so I need to add the E. Cup, cake. I'm going to scoop that syllable. The E is silent. He tells the A to say its name, so this is vowel consonant E. And the U is short. It says So I have a closed syllable at the beginning and a vowel consonant E. Syllable at the end. Cupcake. My second word here is reptile. Reptile. We should know all about a reptile by now. Think about the two syllables, separate the syllables, and write your word. Go ahead and press pause if you're not ready. Rep is my first syllable. Rep. It does have a short E sound, so that is closed. My second syllable is tile. T-I-L. T-I-L. It's only 3 sounds. T-I-L. How is the I going to say its name? I need to add my E to the end to tell that I to say its name. I'm scooping my second syllable, tile. The E says nothing. His job is to tell the I to say its name. And that is a vowel consonant E syllable. Reptile. Reptile. We have 2 trick words, so we're going to go to the next line in number 1 and number 2. I'm going to go ahead and give you both trick words. Number 1 is could. And number 2 is its rhyming word, would. Could and would, both trick words. Could, would. Circle them. Remember to do the best you can. Press pause if you're not ready. Could, and I'm going to circle it. And of course, would look exactly like that, except I'm only going to change the first letter, that consonant. I'm going to change the C to the W to make could turn into would. Could, would. And last but not least, we have one sentence today. So we can just write a number 1 for our sentence. I want that plastic jug. Repeat with me. I want that plastic jug. So we're going to go ahead and write our sentence. I want, both trick words, that. Just check with me as you go. I want that plastic jug. I want that plastic jug. Please remember to make sure you have a capital letter and a period. I'm going to go ahead and write my sentence before we run out of time. I want that plastic jug. Okay, so I can circle my trick words. You can mark that if you want to. Make sure you scoop plastic. Finish marking that word. And then my last word, jug. I'm going to let you finish marking. Be sure to take a picture and send it to your teacher. Thanks for watching.